Hey everyone, Ryan with Miss Dog Geek here, and in this episode, we're doing one thing and just one thing because I realize that I am totally overwhelming myself with too many options. So, those of you following my DC40 build, and if you're on the QRP tech build or a tech group, you know what this is. This is an SI 5351 VFO made for an AT Tiny 85, and I bought 25 of those boards, and I'm throwing them away. If somebody wants them, I'll send them to you. I'm not going to bother with them, and I was going to, but I realized I'm overwhelming myself with options, and which is a problem I have. So some time ago, I had made and built this board. This is an SI 5351 based VFO for my BitX40 project, and it's going to remain that. Now I have more of those boards, the one right here, and I'm going to use this because I know it, I love it, I don't need to embark on an entirely new project to use it. And that's important because longtime followers of this channel know that I deal with ADHD. ADHD doesn't mean you can't pay attention to anything. It means you usually pick up more projects than you bite off more than you can chew. That's kind of what it comes down to for me, is that I regularly bite off more than I can chew. And then and then the decision paralysis comes. I've got all these options. Which one am I going to do first? Am I going to do the AT Tiny first? Am I going to do an analog VFO first? Am I going to do this one first? Am I going to do that one first? How about we just get a working project? And then you can experiment on your own with the different VFOs that are available. And it's just freeing to be able to say that. So in this video, what we're going to do is I'm just building this. This is the QRP Labs SI 5351. I don't know if it might be reversed in the video. I'm not sure, but it's the QRP Labs SI 5351 board, and you can use any board you want. This is the one I like to use because it has everything built in, and you just supply power and you're done. You don't have to worry about giving it 3.3 volts. It has a regulator on board. You don't have to worry about changing the logic to 3.3 volts. It has that on board. Has everything. So, and plus the SI5351A is pre-soldered. So that's really nice. So I'm going to build that, and that's going to be this video. And this is for the DC40 project, which is I'm stupidly close to having that done. So let's take a quick look at that project, and then we'll build. So here is the SI5351. In the last video, I'm mixing terms now. Let's try that again. So here's the DC40 project, and in the last video, we actually got audio out of the audio amplifier circuit. So we know that the audio amplifier is working. Its input from the mixer is right here, and the input to the mixer and the output are right here. That's going to come from the output's going to go to this board, and the input's going to come from the SI5351 VFO. And that's it. Beyond that, I just got to put up an antenna of some kind, and I haven't decided what. The antenna is actually another project. I can't do anything permanent here, but I've got ideas. So I'm going to be working on that. But I would definitely like to have an antenna up, but I have to be at least semi-stealthy about it. So, and I've got to figure out a way to get it into the house, which is always a struggle, isn't it? So today we're just going to build the synth board here so that there's something to plug into this board right here. And the Arduino goes right here. And I just got the Arduino programs, and I'll go into that in another video. But thanks again to Bob for the help with that. And then it's just a matter of hooking it all up. Now, one thing I do have extra this time is this. So this is the Hanmatech DLS1102. Yes, it is a 110 megahertz 2-channel oscilloscope. And I have not actually used it yet. I've just turned it on. I've set it up, got on my bench, but I have really not touched it yet. So We'll probably just use this to measure the output of the VFO when I have the VFO done, but I'll use it in other projects for sure. But anyway, let's get building on this. Oh, and I almost forgot, one other addition to my lab is an iPad. And the reason an iPad is important is because you need to look at the instructions for these things. So I've got the instructions pulled up here. It's either revision 4 or 5 board, and you figure that out and pull up the right one. But like if I pull up the revision 5 assembly manual, boom, there it is. I could use a laptop for this. I have a Samsung tablet I could use for this, but the Samsung is just so god-awful slow, it's worthless. And so this has everything I need. So I got this on sale for Black Friday for like $229. Just one of the cheapest iPad I could get, and so far it has been. I'm not an Apple guy. Everything I own is all, Windows and Android. But this thing is fantastic. It really is the best tablet you can get. So anyway, I'll put a link below to the tablet that I got. And it won't be on sale, but you can at least see what it is. All right, so the only component that's different in this, all the components are the same except for 2. There are 5 of these resistors, and there's 1 of these. This one is R6. All 3 capacitors are the same, and 2 of these are the same, and 1 is different. One of these is a, and there it is, it's the LM 30 something. It is the LM317LZ. You can see here, sort of. And that is going to go, it's going to go where it goes. So I'm going to do resistors first, and then that's it. So I'll probably end up doing a time lapse of this rather than an actual video. All right, so the bulk of the construction is done. I don't think that took maybe 10 minutes. Just to install these few components. There's 6 resistors, 3 capacitors, and voltage regulator, and a couple of BS170s. So what's that? 12, 13 components, including this. Not very many. Not even worth counting, really. So what I'm going to do next is I need to install these headers, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the Arduino. If you watched the previous video on installing the headers on an Arduino, is I'm going to use this breadboard as my jig. Yeah, it's too narrow. There it is. So I got my breadboard as a jig. Let me just push down in here to make sure that they're all seated, and then just go through and basically alternate around the board so I don't overheat the board. Get the 4 corners first. And there's a couple of spots where I use too much solder to install components. If you're looking carefully now, I'm sure you can see them. I'm not overly concerned about it as long as we don't have solder bridges anywhere, and I'm fairly certain that we do not. right, so those are soldered. Let's take a quick look at the board overall and under magnification. And you can see right there on R2, I used way too much solder. In fact, on a couple of those, I used way too much solder. But they're not hurting anything. So this is a pretty tight area, so I want to make sure none of these components are actually touching each other, and they're not. Everything is looking pretty good. So we have a synth board now, and we're just going to use one of these clock outputs. Here's clock 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. So next video, we'll actually put this into use with one of these boards. And so for this board, all I've really got to do is solder in the sockets for the synth, sockets for the Arduino, and set up a display and a rotary encoder. Easy stuff. I might just use a rotary encoder I already have set up for the other project. Same with the display. Although I do have another display here. I've got this I2C 16x2, and I have my script that I have right now, or the sketch they call it for Arduino, is actually set for 16x2. So I'll probably use this. So in fact, I might even just make it so that I can put this directly on the board. I'm not sure if I did do that. So I could just extend this, like if I make this extra tall, this could just sit right here, which would be all right with me. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll get this project going eventually. It's going to take a little bit more time, but I definitely want to get it done so that we can move on to the next project, because I've got other projects to do. I've got, gosh, I have so many. I've got a QRP Labs QMX to build. I've got a QDX digital transceiver rather, for 60 through 20. So I'm gonna use that one for 40, 30, and 20 meters. It says 20 through, what does this say on it? It looks like 20 through 60. Or no, that's 20 through 10. So 20, 15, 10. Definitely want to try out 10 meters with that. I have another QDX here that's broken. Don't really care anymore. I'm not really on the air these days, so I really don't have the energy for it. But that's the subject of another video. So we'll get to this stuff. Thanks for watching. See you later.